Hey guys, welcome back to Dark Souls 3. In the last part, we beat the game, uh, fought the final boss, and pretty much ended our playthrough. I said it would be a while before I came back here just because I wanted to take a little break from it. But today, we're going to be taking on the DLC, and I believe we're going to be doing both DLC. At least I'm going to try to do both. Um, and the first DLC we're going to start with will be the Ashes of Ariandel. The Ashes of Ariandel is a very good DLC. It's not as good as the second one, in my opinion, but it's still a very good DLC. And as you'll note from earlier on in our playthrough when we met this guy here in the Cathedral of the Deep, this is the guy you have to speak to in order to start the DLC. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing, guys. So hope you guys enjoy it.
Wait, you've... you've the same scent as that woman. Then you must be an action one. You must be. You don't know how long I've searched. Oh. Oh. Don't mind me. Didn't mean to fall apart. Now, Ashen One, I have a kindness to ask of you. My lady lives in the cold land of Ariandel. I need you to show her flame. A proper flame that will burn the rot away. If you truly are ash, then it must be fire that you seek. Ah, thank you. They of ash never fail. Just a moment, then. The painting of Ariandel. Well, rotted scrap of it, that is. Go on. Take it. Touch it. And then the ashes were too.
And just like the painted world from Dark Souls 1, we are dragged into this nightmarescape of a world upon touching a piece of cloth with a painting on it. And here we're met by this fucking nightmare fuel right here.
Have you just arrived? How very unusual. Just how long has it been? Rejoice, my new friend. For this is a true haven of the forlorn, the cold and gentle painted world of Ariandel. Quick, go along. Find one for yourself, a sweetly rotting bed to lie upon.
Yeah, so a lot of the enemies in this DLC are gonna look like that shit. Just a little forewarning. But coming through here, we can get our first bonfire for this area. And upon coming out of the cave, we enter the painted world of Ariandel. At least that's how the NPCs say it, but I've always pronounced it Ariandel. Yep, this is the first DLC in this game. And it's pretty good. It adds a lot new enemy types, armor, weapons, and a couple new bosses into the game. I believe there is... I'm trying to think. I believe there are only 2 boss fights in this DLC. Alright. Just gotta get past these guys first. I'll put my mic a little closer so it's easier for you guys to hear me with all these sound effects going on. I won't put it too close though, since I'm worried that might make the feedback kind of well, not the feedback, but the playback a little bit staticky or something. Yeah, these are the first enemy types. They're called followers. They pretty much follow the woman of the final boss of this DLC, who is basically like the one who governs this entire painted world. And we'll be meeting her shortly. But yeah, all these things you see here are pretty much, all these enemies you see here are pretty much followers of her. When you grab that item, an avalanche will fall down, so it's sort of a trap, but you won't take any damage falling down. It's just sort of meant to, like, bait you down to this area with all these dogs. Which honestly is probably one of the most annoying things about this DLC, is this particular area right here. You will be ambushed by, like, 30 dogs. Good thing my Chaos Bed Vestiges hit most of them, if not all of them. This is why I chose the Pyromancy class. You see how much damage these dogs do to you, too? I mean, if I was doing a blind playthrough of this DLC, then I would probably be... I mean... Well, I'm not doing a blind playthrough, but I will tell you that my first time playing this DLC, I think I was stuck in this one area for maybe half an hour, because these dogs jump up out of nowhere and they constantly... You really gotta kill them, like, as fast as you can. Because if you don't, they'll, like, sidestep around you and lunge at you and take, like, a quarter of your health with each hit. Now, that big dog up there... he's gonna want a piece of us later. But he'll actually come down here and fight us now. I'm gonna try not to die here. Oh my god. Man, he fucking sidestepped me. And my black firework hit the tree. Ah, damn it. When I can't dodge its attacks, I will try to block them. It will break my guard, but at least I'll nullify all the damage from it. After you do enough damage to it, it will despawn. It'll pretty much teleport away. So you don't really have to kill this thing, you just have to damage it enough. Which is what I'm trying to do, but it keeps backstepping me. It's an asshole. There we go. Now that is not the last time we will be seeing that dog. It will occasionally crop up in other parts of this icy landscape here. But each time you defeat it and it teleports away, you will get some upgrade material, so it can definitely be worth killing it whenever you see it. Now technically you don't actually have to come this way. There are multiple ways you can get through this area. This path that I'm taking is actually the longer way. But in taking this path, you can also get to another new little area over here, which has a bunch more items in it that I would like us to get. Now, these guys are really, really tough. They're pretty much like hyper armor, poise tanks. No matter how good your weapon is, or how much damage you do, they will pretty much go straight through your attacks and absolutely pummel you. They pretty much rape your stamina, so I would be careful around those guys if I were you. Now, the closer you get to this tower, you will be shot by, like, arrows from a guy that's sitting up there. You can dodge the arrows just fine, but be sure to get away from them after they fire at you. Because after the arrows hit the ground, they will explode. Like that. Shit. Shit! Holy fuck, man. I was just trying to sneak past all the enemies, and I ended up aggroing all of them somehow. The enemy was literally walking away from me. I don't know how he just turned around and saw me. That was weird. But yeah, this beginning area of the DLC can definitely be very annoying. It's full of a bunch of challenging enemies, and then of course, every time you die, you have to come through this little gauntlet of wolves all over again and deal with this nonsense. Do I have the Sage's Ring on? I don't. What? I should be using the Sage's Ring. That's a little bit better. Yeah. This is bad. But this is exactly how I died a million times in my first playthrough of this DLC. You just get ganked by the dogs. Because there's really nothing you can do if they swarm around you like that, and you don't have a way to, like, deal with them. And they just, like, infinitely stagger you, and just absolutely demolish your health bar. Thankfully we didn't aggro too many on our way up here, or down here, so... Why did that only do 200? It wasn't a direct hit, I guess. Alright. Now then. We will try again in this absolutely cancerous area that I hate. This is why I prefer the second DLC. The second DLC has some bullshit areas too, but this particular area in this DLC is just, it's not fun. You just get fucking swamped by so many tough enemies at the same time, while simultaneously being shot at from the tower. It's not a good time. These guys are really weak to magic damage, which is nice. Because in all my casual playthroughs of this game, I usually just make strength builds. And these guys usually, like, tank a lot of the damage that I do to them. I guess because they're more weak to elemental damage as opposed to physical damage. Makes sense. I think I'll be a little bit more patient with this area this time, just so I can avoid getting ganked by a million enemies. Although... yeah, I'm gonna lure this guy over here. Away from the asshole that's shooting arrows at me. I'm over here behind this wall, where I'm safe. What? How did it... okay. I have a better idea. Let's just lure him over here. Okay. The weapons that these enemies use can actually be found later in this DLC too. And these weapons are really good. I have seen these weapons used in PvP, and they are not a laughing matter whatsoever. Alright. Now, hopefully I can get to the tower without aggroing anything else, because, honestly, the items that are in this tower are really the only items that I wanted to get from this area. They're really the only ones worth getting. What? Okay, I thought that would stagger him, but it did not. I did backstab him, though. Sweet. Okay, continuing up here. We will loot the stuff that's in this tower. I believe there's a crystal lizard up here, too. But I don't know exactly where it is. Oh, there it is. Right as I'm talking about it. It's just sitting on the stairwell, minding its own business. And I will murder it. And this is the asshole that was shooting arrows at us, so, oh my god. I forgot that they do an insane amount of damage. I'm gonna try not to die here. Oh, I thought I could get him to fall down. Maybe I can. I don't know. Why are you so aggressive, man? What the f- Okay. Okay. I was... I was literally on the ground when he hit me with that second attack, and it's... I thought I had invincibility frames when I was lying on the ground, but I guess not. So they can just hit you. They can just hit you again while you're already on the ground, not able to move or dodge or block or do anything, and you just take damage. Unavoidable damage. That's not... That's not very fair from Software. And I know you're not known for being fair, but there's a fine line between fair and just bad. Bad game design. Sorry. Alright, we'll dispatch of these wolves again. Why are none of my bed messages hitting them? Oh my god. For fuck's sake, just one of these please hit. Okay. Sidestep every attack I do, because you're annoying. Ugh. These are like the dogs in Demon Souls, they never stop attacking. Stop fucking sidestep. Oh my god. What? That was a direct hit and it only did 200 damage. Fuck these enemies. Literally, motherfuck these enemies. I do not know what kind of fucking sadomasochist over at From Software thought that that was good and well-balanced enemy design. Like, yeah, they could just attack you a million times, sidestep every attack you do, and then fucking just... yeah, take a direct hit from a Chaos Bed Vestige and take 0 damage. It's great. What the fuck? Alright. Now, I'm actually going to go the other way that you can go in this level, because while technically that is another way, that area over there with all the dogs and the asshole big-ass knight dudes, even though there is a lot of stuff over there, I think I'll just leave that alone for now, because I don't want to spend this entire fucking video dying over and over to a bunch of bullshit asshole enemies. In case you want to know what's in that tower that I was trying to get, it's ashes that you can give to the Handmaiden back in Firelink Shrine. And then I believe if you give her those ashes, she'll sell you, like, the follower armor set and maybe one of their weapons too, I'm not sure. So yeah, we're going to go this way now, which is another way you can go. It's much shorter, and it's also a lot closer to a bonfire. And yeah. Right past this bridge here is pretty much the rest of the level in the DLC. So really going that, there's really no point in going that other way unless you want to get a couple items. We're going to cross this bridge now and go up into this little cathedral, which just looks very nice from the outside, honestly. The architecture of the buildings in this game never cease to amaze. You can see there are a bunch of enemies praying outside here. That's because the woman that pretty much governs this painted world is inside this cathedral. But it is the entrance to said cathedral is being guarded by this man.
Well, you look to be unkindled. No bell tolls. And yet you've slipped into the painting. Oh, no matter. If you've lost your way, the words of Lady Frida will guide you. Now go on inside, show respect, and listen carefully.
So Lady Frida is who he is the bodyguard of, pretty much. And once again, we got another bonfire here. And Lady Frida sits right here.
Welcome to the painted world of Ariandel. I am Frida. I have long stood beside our blessed Father and the rest of the forlorn. But forlorn thou seemest not. Ashen One, I know not the missteps which led thee to this painted world. But thy duty is all, and thy duty lieth elsewhere. Return from whence thou camest. I presume it visible to thee. The bonfire, here in this room. A meek and faded thing, but 'twill guide thee nonetheless.
Yeah, so she basically tells you that, there's no reason to be here, because they've pretty much forsaken the Age of Fire. They don't really want anything to do with the fire or anything. They wanted to end the cycle, which is why they came to this world and tried to sort of build anew. And that's exactly what Lady Frida's talking about. She just wants us to leave. But yeah, obviously we're not going to be doing that. Now, you can actually kill her right here, because this isn't actually Lady Frida. This is like an illusion of her. You can either kill her or you can talk to her again. And when you do, she'll give you the Chill Bite ring, which is a ring that gives you frostbite resistance. We won't really be needing that, even though a lot of the enemies in this DLC do use frost damage, or not frost damage. A lot of the enemies in this DLC do inflict the frostbite debuff, so I suppose if you don't have very high resistances, then I suppose that ring could be good for you. But we won't be able to really go anywhere in that building for now. So what you want to do is break the bridge. And just like the bridge in the Catacombs of Carthus, you can descend it after you break it. And down here is where we will find what we need in order to progress through this DLC. Which is a very nice DLC, by the way. I know I talked a lot of shit about the bad enemy design and earlier in this video. But the truth is just that some enemies are... This is another one of those areas that is difficult to defend with the types of enemies that it has. Kind of similar to like the Demon Ruins in the sense that the enemies there aren't really well designed in the sense that you have to find out their attack pattern and block it or dodge it or punish them or whatever. They're more so designed to be annoying as humanly possible because they just shoot fireballs at you over and over and stagger you infinitely and just kill you. And the enemies in this area are very, very similar to that. So that's the only reason I really call them bullshit enemies. It's not because I think From Software is full of shit. It's just because I think, well, they are full of shit. It's just that they weren't really thinking with this level design. There's plenty of other enemies in this game have perfectly well telegraphed and choreographed movesets, but most of the enemies in this DLC do not have that, which is sort of what separates it from the rest of the game. Because the rest of the game is fair. But that's fine. I'm sorry. I'm done complaining. We have a ton of embers. I think we'll just use one now. And we're actually approaching the time limit for our episode, but I don't think I want to end it off quite yet. I would like to get at least one more thing. You'll find a bunch of crabs here too. These guys are just like the crabs in the Faron Swamp. But they obviously can like breathe frost breath at you and deal a lot of damage to you, so yeah, they're not very friendly or anything. Obviously, I mean, just treat them as though they're tougher versions of the crabs from the Faron Swamp. But coming down through here, you can get a new spell. I believe it is a sorcery, and it's dropped from this person. Alright, and we get Snap Freeze. Now, Snap Freeze is a sorcery, I believe? Yes. And I'm pretty sure it's just like Poison Fog in the sense that it creates a cloud that enemies walk in that poisons them, except instead of poison, it inflicts frostbite. So I suppose that is a spell that could be useful in PvP if you want to like halt someone's stamina regeneration, since that's really the only purpose to frostbite in this game. Before we go back to the bonfire and end off this episode, I think we're going to come up here and get this last item that's up here. But yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying this little snippet of the Painted World of Ariandel so far, because it is a very beautiful, like, despite the flack that I give this DLC for having very imbalanced and unfair enemy types, I do think that the area itself and the level design is fucking amazing. It actually looks so good. Just frozen tundra landscape as far as the eye can see. A complete wasteland, sort of, with just this cathedral, which you can't really see because I'm climbing a ladder, but yeah, sort of a frozen, barren wasteland with a cathedral and all of this in the middle of it. They're making the best with what they've got by creating a new world inside of a painting. But yeah, for your reward for climbing up 5 minutes worth of ladders is a Titanite slab. So obviously, you should take the time to get that, because that's pretty useful. I mean, let's be honest, it's a fucking Titanite slab. And yeah, but that should do it for the first episode of Ashes of Ariandel. I think I'm still going to number them chronologically with the rest of my playthrough, but I'm going to make a different, like, video thumbnail for the DLC in this game, just to differentiate it. So if anyone wants to, like, skip my main playthrough and only watch the DLC playthrough, they can do that. But yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying this so far. And I'll see you next time.